Morning everyone, welcome to another new day and another daily devotional. This morning, as we continue to look at the passages in the Bible where the word look is to be found, I want to take you to the book of 1 Kings and to chapter 18. This is where we have the record of Elijah's confrontation with the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel. You remember how he challenged them to see which God, the God of the prophets of Baal, or Elijah's God, the only true God, would answer prayer by sending fire down to consume the sacrifice, the bull that they had put on top of their altars. And as you know, God sent down the fire. This was a culmination of 3 years when God's judgment had been in the land. There was famine throughout the whole land because of the sins of the people. God had withheld the rain. And at the end of that situation where Elijah calls upon God and God sends down the fire, Elijah then turns to his servant and he tells his servant, "Go now, look towards the sea." And the servant goes and he looks out and he doesn't see anything. And Elijah tells him to go again and again, indeed 7 times. And after the 7th time, he looks out towards the sea and he sees a cloud. Only a small cloud, the size of a man's hand, but Elijah knows that that is the sign that God is taking away his judgment and he is going to bless the land with rain again. This was a look of expectation, expecting God to come in blessing after he had come in judgment. And sure enough, within a very short time, the cloud that was there in the distance, so small, soon grew and grew, and there was a mighty storm of rain that fell upon the land. God had been punishing the people because of their sin, but the people had, at least in some measure, turned back to God, and God was now sending the rains again. Times of chastening were replaced by times of blessing. And the look that we are thinking of in this passage is a look of hope and expectation. Picture the servant looking out in hope and expectation for this cloud that signifies the return of the rains. We here in our nation, like many nations, have been suffering these past weeks on account of the judgment of God that has come upon the world through the means of this pandemic of the coronavirus. There's no doubt that God is behind it, either allowing it or actively sending it. And I do believe that it is a way by which God is chastening the world that has gone so far away from him. And we are to look in hope and expectation for that day when this plague will be lifted and will the blessing of God return to our land. We will only see blessing if people turn away from their worldliness, their self-centeredness, their idolatry, and return to the Lord. And so as God's people, let us pray that God by his Spirit will work in people's hearts and turn their hearts to him, and let us look with hope and expectation for the blessing of God to come upon our land. It's something that we need desperately, and let's be praying for it. And let's look at ourselves and ask ourselves the question, am I contributing to the chastening of God upon our land because perhaps of a lack of commitment and faithfulness to God in my life? If that's the case, let us turn again to God and let us go and look with expectation and hope to brighter days ahead. May God grant that it will be so for his glory. Amen.